I'm Sarah from The Upcoming. So lovely to speak to you both. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. Talking about Black as Night today. Maybe you could both just tell me a bit from your different perspectives what originally drew you to this script. Because I know for you, Marie, you've got a background, you've always loved horror, but it was also a new twist on the vampire genre, plus a woman of color right at the center of it. So what was it that appealed to you and also for you, Asjha, about playing the role?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you hit it right there on the head. I've always been obsessed with horror, but I've never seen it through this point of view. And for the first time when I read that script, I was like, I felt like I was her. Like I could see myself as a young woman and trying to figure out who I am and dealing with all those insecurities. I felt the same way. And so when I read it, I was like, this is something that the world's going to watch, and all young women out there can see themselves as a hero for the first time. And it's never been done. Like I had never seen a movie like this. And so immediately when I read it, I was like, I have to be a part of this because I think it's something that's a game changer, really. And yeah, I feel lucky enough to have been just a little part of a huge kind of change in the industry.
Mm.
Yeah, same. I mean, everything she said. I'm terrified of horror films, but I did grow up with like vampires. Like I grew up with Twilight. I grew up with the Vampire Diaries. I grew up with that in that world, and so that was really exciting when I read the script. As well as it's a horror film, and a Black girl is the lead. Like Black people are normally the first ones to die in horror films, so we were really just switching it up. And I just thought that was so cool. And it was just like a really fun script. As soon as I read it, I was like, this is so cool. But it's also tackling really important topics in not a preachy way. You just watch the film and then you kind of go home and then you sit and you're like, oh, some things like kind of sink inside of you that you realize, about voting and colorism and friendship and family. And it was just all around just a really beautiful script. So I was excited to be a part of it.
And that's it. So it's a vampire film, but it's also so much more. I mean, it touches on systemic racism, the aftermath of Hurricane Katrina and the deprivation and the housing and drug addiction and things like that. So how important is it almost to kind of have those themes in there and in a way, I suppose, sneak them in while people are being terrified and entertained, that, you're also touching on all these other things?
Well, the interesting thing is that we were shooting this through the pandemic. And, during all of that, we had the Black Lives Matter protests. And so to be able to not only experience that in real life, but discuss it through our art form, through the thing that we love, it was I think it's going to be such a huge, impactful kind of discussion, that things are not equal. There's so much trauma and oppression that has happened for so long that there needs to be a conversation on moving this forward in a positive way. And I think, the movie does kind of end on that question: what are we going to do to improve, and make this more of an equal world,
Mm-hmm. And even, the main character of Shauna, in some ways, it's also a coming of age story. And I just think, the way she kind of goes from, all these self-esteem issues to then feeling empowered. So was that also a key part of the narrative, kind of following her story?
Yeah. And that's one of the things that I loved about the story so much, is that she found her power from within. It wasn't from anyone else. It wasn't from the guy that she liked. She wasn't getting it from her brother, It wasn't like from her friend that was, constantly trying to uplift her. It was something that she needed to figure out on her own. And she did. And she realized how powerful she was and how beautiful she is.
Yeah, that's the one. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, go on.
No, that's the one of the most powerful things about the movie is finding that strength within. I think that having, Asjha as the lead and representing women with dark skin and to be powerful and independent and vulnerable at the same time it's so important for audiences everywhere to see that. And it's just going to change the narrative of what beauty is and really give the permission to own your own beauty and to be comfortable in your own skin and confident in it.
And do you think films like this are a sign of the times? Like there's an appetite out there for a broader spectrum of representation and different and unique stories. So the fact that we've got, female directed, female led film, people of color leading the action, is it a sign of the times, things improving?
Oh, 1,000%. I mean, I don't know about you, Marty, but like I'm already getting like DMs and tweets that where girls are saying, finally, finally, like they're like, some people are saying like, this is the Black Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you know? They're saying finally the representation just across the board, and it's exciting, and we've needed it.
This is just a validation of you exist in this world, and that your minds, your talents, your inner thoughts are valid, that you are not the first to die, that you are valuable in this world. This is something I've been waiting for my whole life. I started out as an actress and was always put into these roles where I couldn't even speak English, and I was like, I don't want to continue a stereotype. I want to be part of the change. I want to produce, I want to direct, I want to write stories that uplift women and people of color, to give them that full 3-dimensional kind of quality that humans have. You're not just an object, you are so much more than that. And so to be part of a project that brings that to life, it's everything.
Mm-hmm. I think I'm out of time, but thank you so much, both of you, for sharing all that with me. Lovely to speak to you. Thanks so much.
Thank you.